today's America with your host, Don Zolakowski.
I have never heard a candidate, never, who has received huge amounts of money from oil, from coal, from Wall Street, from the military-industrial complex. Not one candidate said, oh, these campaign contributions will not influence me. I'm going to be independent. Well, why do they make millions of dollars of campaign contributions? They expect to get something. Everybody knows that. Once again, I am running a campaign differently than any other candidate.
John.
We are relying on small campaign donors, 750,000 of them, $30 a piece. That's who I'm indebted.
All right, so you just heard Bernie Sanders explain what it's all about for a candidate to be indebted to their donors. If their donors are contributing millions and millions of dollars and funneling millions of dollars into their campaign, that's what's going to happen. They're indebted to them. They're going to do favors for them. They are going to legislate and govern based on what they feel or what their donors feel is best for them. Why? Because they donated all this money. They helped them get elected. They helped them get reelected. Whatever. Okay, it's all about the money with this woman. So let's listen to her response. This is very interesting. And keep in mind, she throws out 3 very key points that resonate heavily with donors that are her supporters. I'm sorry, not donors, that resonate with her supporters. Just check this out. See if you can pick it up.
Well, John, wait a minute.
Personal privilege.
He has basically used his answer to impugn my integrity. Let's be frank here. Oh, wait a minute, Senator. You know, not only do I have hundreds of thousands of donors, most of them small, and I'm very proud that for the first time, a majority of my donors are women, 60%. I represented New York, and I represented New York on 9/11.
All right, so did you hear that? Most of my donors are women. Oh, the crowd goes wild. And, you know, I represented New York on 9/11. The crowd goes, whoa, they go wild. Okay? These are talking points, people. You get talking points on Fox News, for crying out loud. Okay? These are fucking talking points. She is throwing these out there to get reaction from the crowd, to get a viral reaction on the internet or whatever else to drive her poll numbers up. Okay? She didn't do shit on 9/11. Alright? She didn't do shit on 9/11. Alright? Other than to throw that out there. Here, I got someone else that says 9/11. Take a listen to this.
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. Because that's what Jesus wants. 9/11 was bad.
I agree with that.
God, I can't believe how easy this is.
Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
So, did that sound familiar? It should. Sounded exactly like what Hillary was doing, okay? Of course, that was Lois Griffin from The Family Guy. Thanks for letting me pirate your stuff there for a second, but, you know, no harm, no foul, right? But 9/11. 9/11.
9/11.
So let's get back to a very important point here. You know, Bernie brought up some great points about being indebted to your donors. And what does she do? She doesn't say shit about it. She talks about 9/11. Oh, I helped rebuild after 9/11, and my donor or my supporters are women. My small campaign donors are women. Okay? She doesn't say shit about Wall Street. She doesn't say shit about all these Wall Street fat cats who have donated huge sums of money to her campaigns. She doesn't talk about how, you know, while her husband was in office, they did enormous damage to deregulate the banking industry, the mortgage industry. I mean, look, my 401k went through the fucking roof when Bill Clinton was president. Um, and he's such a likable guy, but let's face the facts. Okay, the housing bubble was created. It started with Reagan, but the housing bubble really got created with Clinton and his deregulation policies and having these fucking Wall Street guys in his cabinet that were in charge of the Fed, in charge of, commerce, all that bullshit. It was those people, okay? And she had relationships with those people also. And folks, I'm telling you right now, those relationships are not great for America, okay? When you have campaign donors that expect you to do and you follow through, but they expect you to do the things that are going to help them capitalize on and maximize profits and, capitalize on legislation that deregulates their businesses so that they can act freely and do whatever the fuck they want. That's what's going to happen. I mean, you're going to be indebted to these people. When they donate all this money to you, you're going to be indebted to them. Now, here's another thing. Let me ask you, who are Bernie's campaign donors? Does he have a super PAC? No, he does not have a super PAC. Who are his campaign donors? I mean, really, it's not hard to see. It's not hard to figure out. His campaign donors are people like you and me, working class Americans. And so, if he sticks true to the theory that I'm presenting about being indebted to your donors and your campaign donors, who's he going to be indebted to? Guess what? You and me. All right. Now that's how, in a perfect world, that's how it would work. All right. But, we are talking about politics here, so let's keep an open mind on that. However, he should be indebted to us. Now, I think he's proven time and time again in the Senate with legislation that he's put forward, and also as Mayor of Burlington in Vermont, in the state legislature in Vermont, whatever his political career, wherever it's taken him, he's always been indebted to his constituents, and he's always tried to do what's right by his constituents. Can you say that about Hillary Clinton? I mean, really, can you say that about her? I just don't buy it. I believe that she is not much better than a lot of the Republican candidates. She is all about the money. I mean, you look at these guys' net worth. Bernie's been in public service for over 30 years. His net worth is about $330,000. She's $21.5 million net worth. Okay, it's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer. Okay, she can't answer these questions. She's not willing to answer these questions because she's afraid that she might end up telling the truth and hurting her campaign donors and hurting the cash cow that she has right now, and that is, her campaign donors, her Wall Street, who's in their pocket. So, keep this in mind, people. This is a very important part of the Democratic primary process right now. Now we're going to talk about another very important part of the Democratic primary process, and that is Debbie fucking Wasserman Schultz, who is the representative from Florida, I believe, and she's the head of the Democratic National Committee. And this woman is right now auditioning for a cabinet post. And keep in mind, all right, what we talked about. We talked about Hillary being indebted to her donors. No, she's also indebted to the people that are going to try and get her elected. And Wasserman Schultz is doing her damnedest to get her elected. Okay? These debates on Saturday nights are fucking ridiculous. All right? They are put on those nights, and they're designed to limit their viewership. Okay? Limit their viewership. All right? Now think about it. Bernie's got a huge, huge young following. Okay, how many young people are going to sit at home on Saturday night and watch a Democratic debate? Now, one of the next debates, I believe it's the next debate. The next Democratic debate is also on Saturday night, the Saturday night before Christmas. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, it's probably going to be one of the heaviest shopping days of the year because, people are going to be out trying to get those last minute gifts. And this fucking bitch puts this debate on the Saturday night before Christmas. Okay? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Then the next one is maybe in January or February or something like that. But in the height of the NFL playoffs, it's on a Saturday. Okay? I mean, she is doing everything she can to shelter her pick for the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton. She's doing everything to shelter her from being exposed on TV because, look, when they do that, it's because they have things that can be exposed. Okay? This isn't rocket science. Okay? This is easy to understand. And when you really take a look at it, it's really something. Okay, now another thing we should talk about here is the polls. All these online polls have Bernie just killing her. Okay, 84 to 10, that kind of stuff. All right, now I get it, man. I get that Bernie's got a huge social media following. I get that these people are, probably rushing to get these polls so they can vote for Bernie and all this stuff. I get it. I've even voted in some. I'll admit it. But at the same time, there's probably some Hillary followers out there. I mean, we can't just be naive and think that Hillary followers aren't on Facebook or Twitter or any of these social media sites that have these online polls. Okay, there's plenty of Hillary followers out there too. But when one candidate is garnering 84% of the vote, 79% of the vote out of 15,000 votes or whatever, which is atypical of what a lot of these online polls show. Yet the mainstream media comes back the next day and says, well, Hillary kicked the living shit out of Bernie. And just take a look at our focus group. Really. Who are these people in your focus group? Where'd you get them? How'd you screen them? Did you just pick them off the street? Who are they? All right. I got an argument the other day on Facebook about scientific polls versus online polls. Okay, now I understand that scientific polls are probably a little more accurate. No, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say that scientific polls are more targeted. Okay? But at the same time, an online poll is random. Anybody that comes across it can vote. Anybody. Okay, whether it's whatever party you are affiliated with or whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyone can come across it and vote. The scientific polls, the pollsters control the environment. They control who votes. Okay? They control who votes by asking pointed questions also. All right? Trick questions if you must. Sometimes. But they control the environment. They control who they call. They control what questions are being asked of them. They ask a lot of questions sometimes, and they are designed to steer you in a certain manner. All right? Now, there's no coincidence that the Monmouth poll a month ago or whenever the first debate was showed Hillary, in this big lead. But when you dive deep into it, what was it, 75%, I believe, 75% of the people polled only had landlines. Okay? So that's part of the problem with polling now is the difference between landline people and cell phone people. Now, if you only have a landline and you do not have a cell phone, in today's day and age, you are probably 80 years old and up. You're elderly, you're a senior citizen, And you haven't kept up with technology. All right, they're not just catching 75% of these people that just haven't paid their cell bills, so their cell phones are shut off, so all they have is their landlines now. That's not how this works. Okay, these people, they're trying to find people who vote Democrat, people who, and within that group, they're trying to find only people that have landlines. All right, that's what's happening. That's what happened in that poll, and I'm sure it's happening in other polls. Okay, it's the sampling, I believe they call it. So when that comes about and they try and skew the results, who are you supposed to believe? Are you supposed to believe a bunch of random people that just come across these polls online and voted, who probably watched the debate? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Or are you going to believe a poll where the results are somewhat, there's an effort to make sure that the results are predetermined? Okay, which one are you going to choose? I mean, to me, the random polling is going to be more indicative of what's going on. Now, here's the other thing, too. Don't forget, Hillary was kicking the living shit out of this young senator from Illinois back in 2007, before the 2008 election. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. She lost the primary. Okay? And everyone said, oh my God, it was a big upset, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But, that's not necessarily true. She was kicking his ass in these scientific polls. He was kicking her ass in these online polls. And I'm speaking of our president, Barack Obama. Okay? So, to think that Bernie has no shot right now is ludicrous. It just doesn't make any sense, because he is killing it with certain groups. He's killing it on social media. His message is loud and clear. It's consistent. He's not flip-flopping on anything like she is. I mean, she's coming around now to marijuana. Okay? She didn't say jack shit about fucking marijuana until Bernie did. And then soon after, I'm sure one of her staffers said, hey, we're leading from behind now because, Bernie's on board with this marijuana thing. Oh, shit, Hillary said. Oh, shit, we got to get this going. I better come out and say I want to legalize it. Okay? I mean, what else is there? He comes out against TPP after she said it's the gold standard, when this legislation was trying to get passed. She said it's the gold standard in trade agreements. Now she's against it. Okay, he came out against Keystone. Now, and she supported it. Now she's against it. He came out 15 years ago saying that Bush and Cheney were out of their minds to make us go to war in Iraq. Okay, she voted yes. She wanted us to go to war in Iraq and send your children over there to die. Okay, now she's against it. I mean, it's no coincidence, okay? If you think that she's truly being honest about these things, and she's not just saying this to get your primary vote or your vote, general election vote or whatever, then you're fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you fucking stupid, but you're fucking stupid if that's what you think. All right? Don't forget, she's a politician. She has always governed for her donors. All right? And you can't govern for your donors if you don't get elected. Okay? So, that's what she is doing. All right, so enough about Bernie and Hillary right now. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about France. All our thoughts and heartfelt wishes go out to the people of France, the people that lost their lives. But let's put this in a little bit of perspective, okay? I believe 137 people lost their lives in France in the terror attacks. Was it terrorism? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, let's not get lost in the fact that it was radical extremists, okay? Now, who just happened to be of a certain religion, and that religion was Muslim. Now, the Muslim community Islam, it's getting a ton of press over the last few years, okay? It really ramped up when Barack Hussein Obama was elected. And the right-wing media, the right-wing people in Congress really started going after him about birth certificates, and he's not un-American, and trying to brand him as this thing that he isn't. Okay, and they've gone as far as saying that he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. Well, guess what? In the Constitution, there is no test. There is no religious test to be qualified. Okay, so he's obviously met all the qualifications to become president. We've reelected him, so he's been elected twice to a president. He's on his second term. But the focus has been on Muslims. Now, I know there's a lot of terrorist activity around the world, okay? But let's look at the terrorist activity that's happened here. All right, you got Dylan Roof, who is a self-proclaimed or self-admitted, I guess, white supremacist Christian. All right, went in, sat through a whole hour of Bible study, pulled out a gun and shot 9 fucking people in the head, or killed 9 people in a black church in, where was it, South Carolina? Okay, I mean, white supremacist Christian Timothy McVeigh killed 168 people. He blew up Oklahoma federal building. Christian. All right. The kid that shot up a bunch of people in the theater in Aurora, Illinois. Christian. The kid that went in and blew away, lined up 21 first graders and shot them execution style. Christian. Okay. I get 9/11. I understand that. But, there are so many things wrong with that. And, the debate's always going to be going about whether we did the right thing. Well, we didn't do the right thing. We invaded a country that had nothing to fucking do with 9/11. All right? We invaded Iraq. We went into Afghanistan to go after bin Laden, but we also invaded Iraq. For what? Most of the people on those planes, the hijackers, were Saudis. Why didn't we invade Saudi Arabia? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. They own 8 or 9% of our economy. Okay, we can't do that. Can't piss them fuckers off. Right? Not to mention the Bush family and the bin Laden family, who is basically royalty in Saudi Arabia, have had a business relationship for a gazillion years with oil. Okay, so it's just it's disturbing. It's disturbing that we have all these tragedies, and now people have to change their Facebook overlays on their Facebook profile pictures of the French flag. Okay? You know what? I'm sorry people got hurt. And for those of you that know me and have heard my podcast, you know that I am not a proponent of death. I think people have the right to be alive just as much as they have the right to own a gun. Okay? But they have the right to be alive. And, it's tragic that people died. But listen, we got a lot of fucking people in our country that are dying. We got people that are dying from senseless tragedies. The right wing is not willing to call people like Dylan Roof terrorists when that's exactly what he fucking is a fucking terrorist, because he went in and executed 9 people in a church. Okay? They're not willing to call him terrorists, and why is that? Because he's a Christian? Because he's a white boy? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, it might to them, but it doesn't make any sense to me. We got a lot of people dying. Now, it's been my thought that we've basically, our society, we've turned into a bunch of cannibals. Now, minus the eating each other, we've turned into a bunch of cannibals. And maybe I use the definition a little loosely, but we basically don't care about the next guy as long as we are not inconvenienced or troubled or hurt in any way. We don't care about the next guy. And, I mean, it's disturbing. It is really disturbing. It's very hard for me to see us, throwing up all the support for these other countries when we have people dying in our country. We have veterans that are homeless. We have veterans that can't get jobs. We got veterans that have health issues and can't get treated. We got children who are from poor families and they're homeless and have health issues and no food and and then on top of that we've got 1,000 plus people this year have died from being shot by a police officer. But no one's saying anything. Nobody's saying boo. And it's that part's really disturbing to me because it would really be nice if we could get a society and take a look at how we treat each other. Find a way to get back to being respectful and loving and caring of our neighbor, whether we know him or not, whether we like him or not. There's no reason why we can't have an understanding of the Constitution, in the fact that we are all in the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, in the same way that the NRA fanatics are supportive of the Second Amendment. Okay? And I'm in no way, I don't know. I'm in no way bashing the Second Amendment, okay? Don't get me wrong. But we got some problems in this society, and we need to address them. We need to fix them fast, or we're going to end up in complete fucking chaos. All right? It's hard for me to believe we're not in chaos right now with all the cannibalizing that we do of our own people. And think about what the East is thinking of us right now, the Middle East. I mean, if you lived in one of those countries over there, wouldn't you look at us and go, man, those motherfuckers are animals. They're fucking crazy. At least when our people do it, they're goddamn military terrorists. Their people are fucking regular Joe Blows who just decide they're fucking crazy one day and they go in and kill a bunch of people in a supermarket or whatever. They must look at us and go, holy shit. And then on top of that, they must look at our political process and see that, these politicians are against us. They're not for us. They're not for us. They're against us, for the most part. Until they need our money, until they need our vote, So, look, it's been a pretty long podcast, and we're going to get off of here, but we still need to do a couple more. We need to talk about, a little more about this, the terrorism that's going on around the world. We need to talk about how we're going to go about fixing this stuff. I need to do this podcast about people voting against their own interests, and just haven't got that done yet. But I will. I swear I will. And as always, we're going to keep on the Bernie bandwagon. We're going to keep on that Bernie momentum train, and we're going to help push him towards the nominee status. We're going to help push him towards the White House because that's where he belongs. And we're going to come back with lots of podcasts with political updates, especially after the debates and stuff like that. So just stay tuned for all that. I really appreciate you sticking with me. I'm glad that I'm gaining a little popularity, and not for myself, but for the fact that we're all in this together. This is today's America, and we're all in this together, and we need to pay attention. We need to take an interest in what's going on. That's all of us, right down to your kids. And if we can do that, we're going to make this a better place. And I really appreciate the fan following, and I promise to do more of these, so I can hopefully keep your interest and keep you interested. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great night. This is Today's America, and I am out. Mississippi